Hello everyone, Kathleen from the Athletic Club, here today to share with you some of my favorite exercises, stretches, and movement activities for strengthening and mobilizing our feet and ankles. For those of you who've worked with me a while, you know that I feel pretty strongly that our feet and our ankles are very underutilized and underappreciated in most of our body work. And where our feet hit the road, so to speak, when we're standing or squatting or running, is right where gravity decides where it's going to travel up our body. So very important that we keep them strong, agile, and that they have very clear communication to our brain. Let's get started. Before we do our footwork, it's a good idea to really find our posture. Explore the weight in the feet, weight on four corners of the footprint. Check that the hips aren't forward, that the tail's not up. Draw it down, that the shins are not locked back, that the rib cage hasn't gone forward, that the head hasn't gone forward, and just find good standing posture that we revisit through all the work today. Lifting up all 10 toes, fan them apart. Get as much space between the toes as you possibly can, and then keep that space as you put them back down. Try it a couple times. Ideally, you can see a little bit of the floor peeking between your toes as you look down. You can also lay them down pinky toe to big toe or big toe to pinky toe if you want to play the scale on the piano a little bit. Arches are lifted as we bend and press the legs. Keeping weight in the four corners of the footprint, ball mound below the big toe, ball mound below the little toe, and each side of the heels. Watch that the arches do not collapse as we bend and press. Then we'll roll to the outer foot, roll to the inner foot, and just play across that transverse arch. That's the ball mound from the big toe all the way across to the ball mound of the little toe. In each foot. Bending and pressing again. Play with some calf raises with knee flexed. Rolling all the way up onto the ball of the big toe. Pressing the heels into the floor to straighten the legs. Just warming up heel cords. Finding balance. Again, keeping arches nice and strong. Abs are strong, glutes are strong. Lifting up the big toes, put them back down. Lift up the other toes, put them back down. 2 toes up, 2 toes down, 4 toes up, 4 on each foot, 8 toes up, 8 toes down. So back and forth from 2 toes up to 8 toes up. Again, trying to fan the toes out as much as you possibly can, creating space in the foot. Strengthening the front of the shins and our ability to flex our feet, we're going to do some arch on the heels a little bit. Try to keep the entire forefoot up. You can move forward, you can move backwards, you can march in place. We're going to march on the outer aspect of the foot, from the pinky toe to the outer heel. So the instep or the inner foot is lifted off the floor, creating a really strong supination. Take your time, breathing deep, and then we'll march on the balls of the toes a little bit. This sequence of going from the heel to the outer foot to the toes, and what we're about to do, going to the inner foot, really mimics gait and how the foot rolls in gait as we walk. So our last part is to really try to bevel the outer aspect of our foot up towards our ears and really march on the inner aspect of the footprint. Just creating good mobility in our foot and getting feedback from our foot to the brain of where our foot is in space. So we'll put that together now. Heels, heels, heels. Outer, outer, outer. On the toes. And then inner. Again, creating good optimal mobility in our foot and our ankle. And then we put it quick. We go heels, heels, heels. Outer, outer, outer. We'll go to those toes, and then we'll walk on the inner aspect of the foot. And then we'll put it together in a single series, heels, heels, outer, outer, toes, toes, inner, inner. Feel free to speed it up or slow it down. And as always, not every move is for every body every day, so let pain or discomfort be your guide. Work at your own pace. Give the foot a wiggle wiggle each direction. Challenging balance, hold on to a counter or a chair as needed. And then the other foot. Just good, big range of motion at the ankles there. Our next sequence involves balls. There's some prickly balls that are out there. You can use the little balls you buy to put in the dryer. A tennis ball can work. I'm going to select a little green ball or a Franklin ball to use today. If you have any questions about what equipment I'm using at any time, feel free to email me at Kathleen, Kathleen, at theathletic.club.com. We're going to start with our heel pinned down and our forefoot on the ball. As we press onto the ball, lunging into that leg, we want the toes to splay a little bit. We're trying to widen the forefoot. Watch to track that the knee is going directly over the second toe. It may want to list in or list out. Try a couple of those. Our next exercise is creating mobility laterally and medially. So with the heel pinned down, we roll our instep to the floor and then roll and pin the outer aspect of the foot to the floor. Don't be afraid to put a lot of pressure here into the floor. Gravity's not gentle with you. You can really use some force as if the floor is pressing back up onto your heel. This can be done with the knee more bent or done with the knee more straight. And once you've looked down and you know that the floor and the ball are still there, don't be afraid to take your eyes up on the horizon. Now we just start a little massaging. Just use the ball to roll out the plantar fascia. By the way, if you're in the middle of any plantar fasciitis symptoms that make your foot feel tender or inflamed, please wait on this one till you're not so tender in your foot. Here we're going to march. The idea is just to find different spots for the ball to release fascia in the foot. The idea is that the heel is not down on the floor, nor is the forefoot. You're really trying to balance in the middle of the ball on your arch. Then we pin the back of the heel down on the ball and the forefoot on the floor. This works better if you've got a ball that's a little mushy, I must admit. But we're looking for a movement in these exercises where the foot moves the ankle and the ankle moves the shin and the shin moves the thigh and the thigh moves the pelvis. Your head and shoulders can all move with this as well. And it's helpful on all of these exercises if your back foot is not too far behind you. Notice how close these feet are. Now with weight on the heel, and then one foot just as a kickstand, not too much weight in it. This is like a single leg squat with a little support. So you pin the ball under the heel and just bend the leg and straighten the leg. The idea here is that the heel stays heavy, the weight does not change on the ball. Glutes are active, abdominals are active, and always checking in with the postural alignment that we visited earlier. Another rolling out. As you roll out, try to really splay those toes. You can roll the ball more towards the instep. You can roll the ball more towards the pinky toe side of the foot. Just really bringing circulation, blood flow into the sole of the foot. Now I'm going to have you try something here. I want you to stand on that foot you just did and hop. And then just as a comparison, let's check out the other foot. Which one of those legs do you want to go out for a long walk or a long hike or a run? There might be a notable difference or a slightly discernible difference, but one leg is much more ready to deal with movement and the absorption of gravity than the other. Trying to find the four corners of the feet in our minds. Notice the heel cords. If we stand on the outer aspect of our feet or the inner aspect of our feet, our goal is that those heel cords are very vertical. And when they stack up very vertically in a good mountain pose, we'll notice that the arch lifts with it. So we want to keep the arch lifted, but weight on the first metatarsal head, keeping it really loaded on both the inner and outer toe, inner and outer heel, and then that arch comes up nice and high, and there's a valuable piece of real estate right under that heel, that inner ankle bone that we want to maintain throughout. So weight distribution matters in how we use our feet. So grabbing a yoga block, we're going to do bird on a perch from the Pilates repertoire. This is a rather soft yoga block, so balance can be a challenge. But we're going to try to wrap those toes over the front of the yoga block. And then the exercise is just to squeeze it, to dome up that arch, dome up that inner ankle, and then release and fan the toes out again. Try that a couple times. Again, wide footprint, space between the toes if possible. And then notice where the foot and the toes is popping up white. We're not trying to get it down on the toes, but up on the knuckle of the foot is where we want the metatarsal heads to pop up and turn white. I'll give you a side view here. And this time I'm going to maybe move my foot a little further back so I can actually hug my heels down and into the yoga block. So creating that arch and that strengthening and that lifting of the arch of the foot from the heel hugging towards the toes on the yoga block as well. So play with your position, maybe a little further forward, maybe a little further back, but we hug the forefoot back and the back foot forward to create a good arch. And then a nice option for stretching our heel cords and our foot is to take a yoga block or a phone book or whatever you have and just prop that foot up, stick that heel down. Again, the back foot, don't have it too far out behind you. Really get it underneath you. Bend and press that front leg, watching that the knee tracks over that second toe and repeating on the other side. So with a chair and a towel, the first thing I want to invite you to do is to grab that foot. Our feet, a foot, can really benefit from just some hands-on massage. You can take your knuckles into the arch. You can do this with your foot on your lap if it feels better. But you know, be a good massage therapist. It's really nice to massage in oil or aromatherapy or biofreeze or Aspercream or any product into there as well at a couple points during the day, especially if they've been talking to you. We're going to move on to a little grasping exercise. It helps if there's already a little wrinkle in your towel. And as the last exercise, I'm just trying to really work my arches here, watching that middle ankle bone doesn't drop, trying to make those knuckles of the toe pop up and really strengthen the doming aspect of your foot. It's nice to think about what the exercise is trying to accomplish. We're going to add on to this just a little bit here, taking the foot to the side, wrinkling up the towel a little bit. Go ahead and grasp it and then pivot. Pivot back and put it down. Grasp it, keep the heel pinned down, pivot, feeling the inner and outer ankle, inner and outer calf muscles help, really spiking that heel down. Very helpful if the shin is very vertical here. Sweeping back and forth, getting as much range as you can. And then I like to reverse it. I'm going to start with my foot turned out. Grasp that towel, sweep it in as far as I can, sweep it out as far as you can, put it down and repeat. Standing tall or sitting tall. You can do this standing as well. Keeping equal weight on both sides of the heel. And now just taking that foot, give it a little circle or a large circle in each direction. Sitting in a chair with the heel pinned down, just start to lift the foot, not just the toes, but as much of your foot as you can, bringing the top of the foot to the shin, and then pounding the heel out a little bit. Don't be afraid to pound hard. And you can lean forward a little bit and put some weight on your thigh if you like, and then back and forth action. Again, this is good if the shin's vertical, toes are broad, and just explore the whole foot, tapping back and forth. Again, finding a resistance against the sweeping action as we did with our towel pickup. And then this exercise is pretty traditional physical therapy for the ankle, and that is starting to write the alphabet in script, lowercase. I'm going to take you to I, but feel free to go all the way to Z 2 to 3 times if ankle stability is an issue for you with each foot. So at a chair or at a counter, it's a good idea to stretch the back side of our leg as well. So with a staggered stance, put a lot of weight in the back heel and peel it up. Imagining you're pulling your foot out of something sticky or crushing something underneath the heel. Weight balanced in both feet and stretching those heel cords. Then sitting back so the lion's share of the weight is on our back foot, and then stretching forward. So with this back and forth action of sitting back in the back leg, peeling it up, putting it back down, we're acting through our calf and then much deeper through our soleus. A deeper soleus stretch involves stepping forward and really pinning the heel down and maybe even lifting that front leg up. Just spending some time rolling through the foot and the ankle. Good old-fashioned relevés and pliés work as well. Thanks for joining for this fabulous foot tutorial. Again, I'm Kathleen with the Athletic Club. Feel free to email me with any questions that you might have about this video or any of other group fitness or Pilates classes, workouts, and training available at the Athletic Club. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more tutorials and workout videos.